How you doing, guys? Welcome to another episode. And this episode is a request. Uh, some of my subscribers they're asking me about torque wrenches, so I'm gonna make a very quick video on this, and I'm just gonna show you the basic on torque wrenches. Some people don't know how to use them, and when you get a torque wrench like these ones, they don't come with instructions. And I know some people on YouTube they already throw this about torque wrenches, but I'm gonna do this quick little one so you guys know how to use them and why it's important to use them. Basically, first thing that you want to do is use a torque wrench, because if you don't use them you can snap bolts. You can snap bolts and you can over tight bolts on your vehicle, and believe me, you don't want to do that. In this case, I'm going to show you the basics and what do you need. In this case, I always use this one, which is my half inch. This is a half inch torque wrench, and it goes all the way from 10 pounds to 150 pounds. If you can see right here, you have right here 20 pounds, and you're gonna see the lines right there all the way to 150, which is gonna be on your left. That little line right there is 150. It has a little screw on the bottom. This one, you move it to the left, lefty loosey, righty tighty, move it to the left, and then you can move it to the desired pound feet that you want to put on the vehicle. In this case, let's say you're gonna work on your lug nuts. You're gonna grab your torque wrench. In this case, I'm using my half inch because this is the one that I use for all my jobs. But if I wanna go, let's say when I throw the video on how to replace the idle air control valve on your Honda Accord, I was using this one to torque down those two bolts, and this one is a little bit different. I don't use this one a lot. This one is on inch pounds, so that's pound feet of torque on the big one. I have half inch, and the little one, which is gonna be 3/8. This is the ones that I use the most. That's why I only have these two. And this one, in this case, if you want to torque something down, which is really a small bolt, and you don't want to over torque those bolts, you want to do something like 110 inch pounds, 100 inch pounds, something that it doesn't require a lot of torque. You can grab one of these, and this is very inexpensive. Let's say on my idle air control valve, I torque it down to 110 inch pound. If you see my torque wrench, loosen up the nut on the bottom so you can turn it. Right there is 0. Okay, if you turn it, that's 5 inch pound. 10, that's gonna be, when it gets to 0, that's gonna be 20, because it's on the left side is the 20. So 0 means that you are on 20 inch pound. 25, 30, 35. You're gonna see the 35 on the other side. Okay, 40, 45, you have 50 right there, 50 inch pound. When you get to the side, let's say you're gonna get to 100, you're gonna turn it all the way. When 0 reach 100, 95, that's 100, that's 110. You back it up, that's gonna be 100. When it meets in between 95 and 110, you have the 5 in the middle, that's gonna be 100 inch pound. Let's say idle air control valve is 110, that's gonna be 110 inch pound. Okay, and that's the way to use this one. Normally I don't use this one. I've been using it like a couple times only, and that's for really small bolts, as you can see. But let's say you want to go and torque lug nuts. Most of them, like in my Accord, they torque it down to from 85 to 100 foot-pounds. On this one, I torque it down all the time to 85 to 90 foot-pounds of torque. And same thing that I'm gonna do with it. Loosen up the little nut on the bottom, and right now, if you go down, that's 0 right there. Okay, that's 20, That's 30, and you go all the way up. I'm gonna torque it down to 90 foot-pounds. Last time I torqued this down to 85 pound-feet of torque. This time I'm gonna torque it down to 90 just to show you how to do it. So when you reach the number 0 all the way to 90, you can see on this side is 90. It's gonna be the line like this and then goes down. When you have a 0 mark on the line from 90, that's 90 foot-pounds. Okay, then you lock it up. Next thing, because on this case I'm gonna torque down the lug nuts, you can use extensions. Long as your extension is a big extension, it's not really thin, you can use that one. Some people say not to use it, it's not recommended, but some bolts that you have to go to, you have to use them. So in my case, I never have problems, so I always use it. Okay, you put it right there, get some leverage on it. When your torque wrench click, that means you are on the correct spec. That's 90 foot-pounds. Okay, once it clicks, that means you torque it down to the right specs. Best way to do it is to check on the owner's manual. If you have one, check the correct foot-pounds for everything. You guys saw through my whole YouTube channel that when I torque stuff down, I always go to my manual for the vehicle, or I always Google the correct torque specs for the vehicle. And last but not least, guys, one thing that you want to do when you have to put away your torque wrench, always put it back to the lowest setting, because there is a spring inside the torque wrench and you don't want to leave it like that because you're gonna mess up the calibration. So loosen up on the bottom and go back, and this is the way I store my torque wrenches. I go all the way to 0 and then I go back like 3, and that means that I store it on 3 pound-feet of torque. Then I lock the nut on the bottom. And most of the times when you buy a torque wrench, it's supposed to have a little case like this one. I never keep my torque wrench on the car. I always put them on my toolbox and with the lowest setting. Never leave it on 0. I always leave it on 3 pound-feet, and that's how I keep my torque wrenches. Same on the small one, going back all the way to 0 and then put it on around 3 or 4 pound-feet of torque, well, in this case is inch-pound, and store it on the little case, and that's how I keep my torque wrenches. Now, one thing that you never wanted to do with these ones, use them like a ratchet. First, you use your ratchet to go until your bolts are snug, and then start using your torque wrench, because the calibration might go bad on them. And when you want to lose a bolt, you might use a braking bar or a big ratchet. Never use a torque wrench to lose bolts, because you're gonna mess up the calibration and then you gotta send them to get calibrated. Most of the torque wrenches, you wanna get them calibrated every year, and basically that's gonna be the main steps to use torque wrenches. So don't forget, guys, that's the way to use them. It's really easy to use torque wrenches. And remember, if you want to purchase these, take care of them, because to get them calibrated is kind of expensive. Sometimes it's more expensive than the torque wrenches themselves. So make sure that you keep them safe, and you always store them and never use them as a brake bar. So guys, that's what I have on torque wrenches. If you have questions, please let me know. Leave your questions in the comments down below, and if you have any questions, I'm gonna be happy to help. So I hope you like this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next one. Peace.